Okay, just another reaction. We're going to start with toluene, treat with bromine and iron tribromide, then magnesium, then valeraldehyde, and then we'll protonate it. So hit pause, work this problem, come back, check the answer. Okay, so step one, bromine and toluene. Remember, methyl is an electron donor. It's a weak electron donor, ortho-para. Or para-ortho, I don't know why I wrote it that way. It's usually going to go, if you control the reaction, you don't heat it up too much, you don't use an excess, you usually will get para. So step one is going to give the para-bromide. Okay, step two, again, every time I go through a step, if you didn't get that for the first step, stop. That's the answer to the first step. Then go on and try to work out the rest of it. Okay, so hit pause, work the rest of it from here if you missed step one. All right, so taking para-bromo-toluene and treating that with magnesium will give the Grignard. So that's the product of step two. And I said this in an email, I think, in response to a question from a student. The numbers here, sometimes it means, and in this case, so step one here, we would have isolated this, okay? So step one, put a bromine pair to the methyl. We would actually, think about your time in lab, we would actually isolate this compound. We'd do an extraction, we'd neutralize the iron, we'd extract it into the bromide, into the organic layer, we'd rotovap it, we'd probably do a column or recrystallization or something. We'd isolate it. Sometimes these numbers mean isolate the product from step one. Step two, we're not going to isolate the Grignard, right? This is a super reactive base. You can't do an extraction on it. In fact, if you just open it up to the air, it's going to react with water in the air. So step two, not isolate. Right, so 2, 3, and 4, this is all going to be what we call one pot. So we're gonna make the Grignard, we're gonna dump in the aldehyde, then we're gonna dump in acid, and then we'll isolate something. Anyway, that's the product of step 2. Okay, so if you didn't get that for the product of step 2, stop, reconsider your answers on 3 and 4. Step 3, how many carbons we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that carbon's going to act like an anion. It's going to attack there. So the product of step 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can draw that chain anywhere you want. That's the product of step 3. And then we're going to dump some protons in. And we're just going to isolate that alcohol. All right, if we don't isolate here. So don't get too worked up. You could basically choose what you want to do here. So if you think, oh yeah, I just want to, I want to have some iron tribromide around, you can do the next reaction, or you can purify it. Either way. Okay.